What's up, everybody? NFX here with another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're not going to talk about a specific audio technique or beat making technique. What we're going to talk about is how you can get feedback for your beats. Now, I truly believe that one of the best ways to improve your beats and grow as a musician is to get advice and opinions from other people who are doing the same thing. Now, some people, their opinions are going to be way different than what you're trying to do, but you got to learn how to accept that and kind of learn how to pick and choose the opinions that will help you. Okay, so the reason why I bring this up is because at Warbeats we have a way for you to get feedback on your beats, and I want to kind of describe that process and show you what that's about and how to do that. First, you have to go to warbeats.com and you have to sign up. Now, signing up is really easy. We don't get a lot of information from you, basically just your email and username and password. And then we'll send you an email to verify that, and then you're in. That's all you really have to do. Once you're registered and signed in, you get access to the downloads and some other stuff too. So it's worth it just to check out Warbeats and sign up. But in order to use the beat feedback, you definitely have to be signed in, because when you upload your beats, we need to know who you are and kind of keep track of how many beats you've uploaded and stuff. And the reason is, the way the beat feedback works at Warbeats is you upload. You can only upload a beat after you've rated a couple of tracks. So what that does is that promotes everyone who wants feedback. It promotes them to give feedback also. And you don't have to be an expert to give feedback. All you have to do is be honest and give your honest opinion. Now, as we'll see in a minute, giving feedback is really easy. And it's easy to give detailed feedback because of the system that I've invented to do that. On the screen, you see warbeats.com, the homepage. And I'm logged in as a demo user right now. And then this user has not, quote unquote, rated any beats or uploaded any beats. So we're going to see what the user needs to do to get to that point. If we go to the home menu, you can see that it drops down and you've got track manager, charts, and beat feedback help. If we go to beat feedback help, we'll see it's an information page, and it's going to pretty much tell you what I'm about to tell you. But you should read it anyway. Okay. Just to just read through and understand what's going on. You could always refer back to that page if you have any questions. But what I wanted to show you is over here on the sidebar, it says beat feedback system, and then it says click on a track name to leave feedback. And there's always 5 tracks listed there. And these are the 5 tracks that are the oldest with the least votes. So it's kind of fair. Whatever one's on top is the oldest one that needs some kind of voting on it or some kind of rating or feedback. So you should work your way down this list. Now, this list will always have 5. If you rate one stop, the list is going to refresh, and special delivery will then move up, and then another one will move into the bottom, onto the 5th spot. So you can keep rating as many as you want. But if you notice below the list, there's an area here which is mostly empty, except for charts. We'll get to that in a second. But some other options would be here if you have them available to you. And below that, it says you have rated 0 tracks and you have uploaded 0 tracks. Then in red letters, it says you need to rate 2 tracks before you can upload. So the reason why we don't have an upload link here is because we need to rate 2 tracks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rate 2 tracks. Okay, so basically I'm going to go here to one of the tracks that are in the list. Now, generally I want you to go down the list. Now, I know Mart has some pretty good mixes, and if I use his as an example, I don't think he's going to be embarrassed by it. So I'm going to use his. But basically, once you get to the voting page or the feedback page, you're going to see the track name and the producer name and the type, and each type has a different icon. This is a remix, so you can see it's got a CD. If you notice down here on the sidebar, if it has a turntable, it's a sample-based beat. If it has a keyboard, it's a composed beat. So we've got a good mixture of beats to choose from. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit the play button, and then as that track is playing, we're going to listen for a couple of things to do this rating. And the things we're going to listen for are the mix and the master, the instrument and sound quality, the arrangement and the composition, and our own personal score. Now, if you have any questions about what each of these things means, just click on the little blue icon there, and a little thing will drop down kind of explaining what that particular section is about. For example, under mix and master, it's telling you this refers to how well the overall mix of the sounds fit together. Some things to look for: the clarity of the low end, and if some instruments are too loud or soft, etc. So this kind of gives you a clue as to what you're listening for. So let's go ahead and play a little bit of this. Okay, this is actually a very good remix. So when I'm listening to it, I'm thinking about these various things, okay? So when I'm listening to it and I'm thinking about the mix and the master, I'm thinking that sounds pretty good. So I'm going to give it a voting. Now, you'll notice when these start out, they're all in the middle. And in the middle is average, okay? Unlike your grading system in school, at least in the U.S. schools, a 70 or what we would call a 7 is average. It's a C. It's basically, we rate on a scale, on an alphabetical scale, where A is the best, B is the next best, and C is basically average. Well, we don't rate that way here. For us, in the middle is average, right here. So in this case, to me, the mix is above average. So I'm going to move it over. You can see 6 says slightly above average, and then 7 says above average, and then 8, 9, and 10. 10 is perfect, okay? So in this case, I'm gonna call this mix above average. Now, as far as the instrument and sound quality go, what struck my ear was that the instrument, especially before the vocals kicked in, all sounded pretty clean and clear. And I think it's a cut from a sample, which, if it is, it was cut well and sampled well. So I'm going to go ahead and move that up. And in my opinion, that's very above average. Okay. The arrangement and composition, I didn't really give it enough of a play to determine how the verse goes into the chorus. And I don't want to do that and take up a bunch of time in this tutorial doing that. But you're going to listen to the whole thing and get these opinions and then rate them honestly. Now, what I did here was the intro going into the verse, and to me, it sounded well put together. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7 or above average. Now, my personal score, it happened to sound very catchy to me right from the beginning, and I do want to hear the rest of this and make a better judgment later. So, Mart, I owe you another feedback on this, but my personal score on this would probably be pretty high, number 8, because it did sound really good to me, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Now, once I've rated this thing, I have to put in some kind of extra feedback here. I have to type in something, and if there was nothing wrong with the track, I might say this is such a great track, I can't put anything negative here. But basically, what I would hope that you all enter here is something that the person could do to improve the track. It doesn't have to be very detailed, but you should have enough information that the person could hear it. Like if you hear that a clap is too loud, make note of that in your note here. Say, the claps are too loud. You might want to try taking those down or whatever. Now, for me, the only thing that didn't sound quite that great to me was the vocal sounded a little bit back in the mix. And it could be because I'm using headphones while I'm recording this. I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and note that. And I'm just going to say, the vocals could be a little more clearer and up front. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. See, it's just a sentence, but it gives the person something extra to go by. Okay, now below this area, there's a checkbox where you can post your comments anonymously, and by default that's checked. And the reason is, when you leave feedback, I want everyone to feel comfortable enough to be honest, because if it's someone you know and you might be leaving some negative feedback, I don't want you to be held back by saying exactly what's on your mind. So you can post these things anonymously. But if you want people to know who you are in the comment section, which we'll see in a minute, you could uncheck this box and then your name will appear there. So it's really up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and post this anonymously, and then I'm going to submit the score. And now it's going in and it's saving everything. And when it comes back, it's basically redone the page, only now I can see here his raw score, which is 58. He's had 2 votes. So apparently I voted and one other person. And now these little sliders are not available for me to move anymore. Okay, because they're locked in, because it says you have already voted for this track and the average scores are displayed. So apparently I was not the only one in thinking that the mix and the sound quality were pretty up there. So you can see that he scored 8s on both of those. But where did he score lower? On the personal score and on the arrangement. So someone scored him pretty low on the arrangement, lower than I did, and lower than I did on the personal score. And again, personal score is just an opinion. So while you might vote someone high because they sound great on the mix and they sound great on the quality and their arrangement is great, but you're not feeling the beat, you might vote them low on the personal score, and that's perfectly fine. But below that, you can see very, very different opinions here. Well, the first person said musically it's utter-ish. The mixing is good, though. And then what I wrote, the vocals could be a little more clear and up front. So you can see that over time, Mart's going to get a bunch of feedback, and he's going to look at what he thinks he agrees with and what he doesn't. If a lot of people say the music is utter-ish, he's going to go, well, maybe I need to work on better music, okay? If they all say the vocals are too muddy, then he's going to know he needs to work on vocals. But over time, these are the type of things that he's going to learn and grow from. Okay, now, if we look over here on the beat feedback system sidebar, we can see that Mart's is no longer listed here because we've already rated that. And now it says you have rated 1 track and you have uploaded 0. You need to rate 1 track before you can upload. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and rate another track basically the same way. I'm not going to let you guys suffer watching me through it. But when I come back, we're going to go to uploading a track. Okay, so now I'm back. I've rated another track, and now we can see that I've now got an upload track link here. And down below it says I've rated 2 tracks and I've uploaded 0 tracks, and the little notice saying how many tracks I need to rate is now gone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a track. And when I click on that, it brings me to the uploader page. And in the first top of the page, it's giving me some information, which you should read, about how to contact me if there's any bugs in this. A lot of this stuff is still in what I call a beta stage. It shows you the player in the Warbeats forums. You'll get a code that you can actually post in there, which will make this player appear with your song, and then people can click to rate your song. But I'm not really going to cover that here. But you can see that in this one here, it's showing me the song name and it's showing me the artist name, and then what the current rating is. It's 4.5 stars. And then it's just your average Flash MP3 player. But anyway, so there's that. One thing I do want to point out is we don't put tags or advertisements in your beat. So if you want to protect yourself with a tag or an advertisement, please do that yourself before you upload the track. And then moving down, you can see here's the actual upload a track section. And what you're going to do is you're going to give it the type. If you don't know what type it is, just leave it on unknown. Otherwise, put either sampled, composed, or remix. What I'm uploading is composed. I'm going to put that it's uploaded by demo user. And the track name, I'm going to call it Real G. And some track notes. If you want, you can put some track notes. It's not required, but I'm just going to put test, upload. Okay. And then I'm going to choose a file. So let me browse to a file. There's my MP3. And then I'm going to hit start upload. Now, when I start the upload, there's no progress bar. I want to add that eventually. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, I've changed this page a little bit so that it has a nice status bar telling you, how far the upload's going and everything. But in this case, I don't have that yet. So we're just going to be patient for a minute and let this upload complete. And there it's done. Now, when it's done, it takes you to what's called your track manager. And if we go look at the beat feedback sidebar again, now you can see you have a manager tracks. Upload has disappeared because I've rated 2 tracks, but I've uploaded 1 track. So in order for me to upload another track, I need to rate 2 more tracks. But this is where your tracks would be listed. There's a track ID. There's a play button. So if I hit this play button, it'll play up here. Okay, so you can hear that. There's the type. Again, that's the icon I spoke of. Here's the feedback button. If you click on this, you'll see the feedback people have given you. Now, in this case, I've just uploaded, so chances are no one has given me any feedback on it. There's the title. There's the raw score, which is not available since no one's actually heard this or rated it. But you know what? We're gonna see this in a little more detail under my other account, under my real account later. But here's the code I was talking about. See this code here? WB player equals. If you put that anywhere in a forum post, then that little player will appear for you. And then the X here is for you to delete the track. So if you uploaded the wrong track or you just want to remove it, you can click the X and remove your track. Now, you don't see your beat in the list over here on the side. Even though I've just uploaded it, it should be near the top of the list, assuming these other ones have at least one feedback vote already. But you won't see your own beats in this list. So don't get upset if you don't see your beat at the top of the list. It just means that we're not showing you your own one because there's no point in you giving yourself feedback on it, right? So there's that. The vote page, if I was to click on this vote page here, basically it would look like this, and you can see that there's no notes section here, and you cannot vote on your own track. So it's just going to display average scores, which right now there aren't any. So we'll have to look at that from the other side when I log in as myself, which we'll do right now. Okay, so now I've logged back in as my real self because I have a couple of tracks already uploaded that we can actually use for demo purposes as far as looking at the other side of it. So I'm going to go to Home, and then I can also access my track manager from here. So I'm going to click on Track Manager. That's going to load the page that we just saw. Only for me, for my real user, you can see I have a lot more tracks listed here. And you can see their IDs and all this other information. Now, what's the important thing here, if you're keeping track, is your raw score. This is the raw score you got. Your stars. This is the number of stars that would appear on the player. The number of votes you received for each one of the tracks. Your average personal scores that people have given you. These are all averages. Your average composition, your average mix master, and your average sound. In this case, I've got to squeeze my resolution in a little bit for everything to for me to record the tutorial, but normally my screen's much wider than that. So here you can see I've stretched it out a little bit, and you can see the rest of the items there. Okay, so that's my page. This is where I would manage all my stuff. And if I wanted to see feedback, then I would click on it and go. Like, for example, on this track here, Information Overload, if I click on the little speech bubble here, that's going to take me to the feedback page for that track. And on this feedback page, you can see there's my raw score and there's the player. I cannot change these ratings here, but these are my average ratings as given to me by the 14 votes that I got on this particular track. And as I scroll down, you can see that I see the comments, but because this is my track, I see another couple of goodies. I see, for example, this stuff here, which most people will not see if it's not their own track. What this is telling me or explaining to me is that if I find a comment that is very useful, I should mark it as useful. By default, they're all normal. You can see the red normal. If I find a comment that is completely worthless, and by worthless I mean it is completely worthless. Like this guy that says nice sounds, that's not really useful to me, but it's not exactly worthless either. What would be worthless would be this one, where it says test by user anon. Remember, these are anonymous users by default. So this is worthless to me. So I can click on worthless here, and it's going to go ahead and mark that thing as worthless and reload the page. And now you can see it's marked as worthless. Now, the reason why you want to do this is because if a user is abusing the system and going through and just marking stuff and talking trash and hating on everything, this is the power you have to mark their comment as worthless, and that will reduce the effect they have on rating people's beats in the future. If you find one that is very useful, let's say this one here. This one is not a positive comment. This one says that it's way too repetitive, okay? And I would agree. This particular beat that I uploaded happened to be very repetitive, and I think they're right. So I'm going to say it's useful. Even though I know that it's repetitive already, what I'm doing is I'm saying, yes, you were right. You listened to it. You're giving me something that I can use in order to get better. Even though it's a negative statement against my track, I'm not taking it as they're hating on it. I'm just taking it that they're actually giving me some useful information. So I'm marking it as useful. Look down here. This one says more variation. So, now I've got two people saying that it's kind of repetitive. So this is giving me clues as to what I can do to improve myself here. And the final one here, it says the track sounds too computerized and blah, blah, blah. And it gives me some information. Now, again, the track sounds too computerized. Where a lot of people might take this very personally. I don't. I listen to every criticism, and if it doesn't sound like it's pure hatred, I take it to heart, and that's what you should do as well. And then mark it as useful. Now, you don't need to go through and mark them all, but look at them and mark the ones that are most useful to you and the ones that are most worthless. But use your judgment for that. But like I said, over time, this is going to help the system become more accurate and more useful to everybody, because we're going to know who all the haters are. Those are the ones who get all the worthless votes. And we're going to know who the top feedback people are. They're the ones who are going to get most of the useful votes. So this is your power. Anyway, so there you go. This is how you would look at your beat feedback. Okay, and you can see that you're getting a lot of feedback. Not only are you getting the comments here, but you're getting feedback on your mixing and mastering. You're getting feedback on your instrument and sound quality, your arrangement and composition, and your personal score. So you're getting a lot of information here that you can use to better yourself. Also, by rating other people's beats, you're getting a lot of information. You're training yourself to listen for these things. These are the things that, to some people, they come naturally. Mixing and mastering, or arrangement and composition. When I see some people's videos, like David Bowie's videos, where he's making up songs, it seems to me that his arrangement and composition comes very naturally, and it's very good. But someone like me, or maybe even you, that's not a natural thing. You can use this to find if you're getting better at it or worse at it, and what you need to get better at, just by looking at your average scores over time. Now, one track isn't going to say, oh, your mixing and mastering isn't great just because on this track people think it's very above average. I may have gotten lucky on this track, but if I upload 10 tracks and I'm scoring in the 8s and the 7s and the 9s on mixing and mastering, well, chances are I've got that part down pat. But if my personal scores are very low, well, maybe I'm not writing catchy enough hooks, or I've got other issues going on. So this is how the system is going to help you. Now, everyone likes charts, so that's why I'm also going to bring up the charts in closing here. If you click on the charts, and you can get that from the beat feedback menu on the sidebar, or from home and then charts. And charts is going to take a little while to load because there's a lot of information here on the charts. So I'm going to let that go ahead and load before I explain it. Now, by default, the player up here is empty because I'm not playing anything. But it's telling you here that the tracks must have at least 6 votes and be less than 1 month old. So anything that's older than a month old, that was uploaded more than a month ago, will not appear on these charts. And the reason is I want to keep the charts fresh. Okay. I found that if I just left the top ones there, they end up getting more and more votes, and to the point where the number one highest rated song had about, I think it was 200 votes, and the next one below that had 70 votes, and the average number of votes are much less than that. So in order to keep things fresh from now on, I'm making it so that only tracks that are a month old or less will appear in the charts. So you can see that they're broken down into several types of charts. There's the highest rated. This is that raw score. Okay. So the highest rated with a raw score of 92, which is extremely high, is by artist Dangerous. Now I can hit the play button here to play it. And I could tell already it sounds nice. I'm going to stop that, even though I'm going to listen to it more later. But if you wanted to go and comment or vote on this, you can just click on the speech bubble here. I'm going to just let that open in another window while I'm talking to you. Let's go to the other window. And then I could go here, and I could then go ahead and put my vote in on here if I wanted to. And I probably will do that later on. But going back to the charts, then you can see which ones are the top in the mixing and mastered category. So you can see this particular artist, Dangerous, he's the top and the highest rated and in the mixing and mastering. So his mixing and mastering must be pretty good. And he happens to be ruling sound quality, composition, and personal favorites. Okay. But if we go down the list, that's not always the case. So someone who's, for example, let's say this one here. This is number 10 in the highest rated. It's called Lost. And if I look for it over here in mixing and mastering, it's like number 6. And if I look for it over here in sound quality, it's number 5. So you might score very well in one of these or one or more of these categories, and not so well in other words. So that's why we show you all the charts there. And then at the very bottom, we have the latest upload. So you can see there's the one I uploaded earlier, Real G. And that one may not have any votes yet. But this one always shows the most recently uploaded going down. And you can scroll through the pages here if you want to. It sends back about 50 of them. So you'll see the last 50 in this particular grid. Um, and this is just here, just, for fun. Okay, we don't have any right now. We don't have any competitions on this, so it's just here for fun and bragging rights, I guess. And really, that's it. That's all there is to it. So if you come and you sign up and you rate some beats, you can upload a beat and get yours, get some feedback on yours. And overall, like I say, I think this is a great system. It helps promote people to provide feedback honestly, because if they get marked down as worthless, um, we could do things like prevent them from uploading or make their scores, not count anymore. So it promotes people to provide feedback, and you also have to provide feedback to upload. So you're going to get a lot of people giving feedback. Then you're going to be listening, because you're going to have to give feedback. So you're going to be listening in a different way, hopefully. Hopefully you'll learn how to listen to beats in a way where you're going to actually be rating them and know what to listen for. And that is what's going to also help you in your own beat making, because then you're going to know as you're making your beat, oh, shoot, this is not up to par on my arrangement. So before I put this thing out, I better fix it up a little. I better work on this. And you're going to start to become more aware of what people are listening for. And that's going to help you. So all around, this is a win-win situation, and all you have to do is rate a couple of beats a day, and you can upload one beat a day. Now, we are limiting one upload per day because we don't want to overload the system. And actually, it seems like the system is a little bit overloaded. So the more people that get in here and provide feedback, the better for everybody. I know some people just like to go in here and knock off, 5 or 10 feedbacks in a day, because it doesn't take very long, and it's fun to listen to what other people have uploaded. And it helps also, I think, to inspire and maybe give you some ideas as to what you want to do. But anyway, so this is the beat feedback system at warbeats.com. So I urge all of you who are looking for feedback, don't be shy. Come on and join the site, rate some beats, upload some beats and get them rated. Go to the forums, post that little code in there. You can even have further discussions on what you were trying to do with the beat, or maybe you want some more detailed way of having people respond to you and then asking them follow-up questions. You can do that in the forum. So we try to accommodate everything you need to do in this system. And the system is still growing and changing. So you can also go in and provide your feedback to me as far as what you want to see in the system to work differently, to make it better. And I'm always open to good suggestions. So anyway, there it is, the Warbeats beat feedback system. It's completely free. We're not trying to promise you we're going to make you a professional, but you will be a better beat maker if you come and join our site and just let yourself go here. And there's also a lot of people here that know what they're doing already and hang around just to help, just to be helpful. A lot of the mods here are excellent beat makers in their own right. A lot of the regulars here are excellent beat makers in their own right, and they hang out because they like the community. And you'll find that the feedback you get from some of them is oftentimes extremely detailed and extremely useful. And you can't lose. You have nothing to lose here. We're not going to charge you for any of this. Just have fun. Just have fun and grow and get better. That's all we want. And if you want to, throw up the W for Warbeats and support us and give us links on your blogs and whatever, please do. Tell your friends and all that. That's how we want to grow, by providing a service to you first, and then you can show us love after that. So that's our whole goal, to do that. And that's the motivation for the beat feedback system. So please come by the site and use it. And this is NFX saying I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial.